All right. I think everything is up and running. I'm just tweaking sound settings and getting stuff kind of loaded up as folks jump on. I see Iconic Boar and Sour Lad in the chat. What's up, folks? I'm gonna need some feedback from you guys once we get started. So let me jump over to the chill stream layout, and then I can start actually tweaking things like my BGM settings. And you guys can let me know if I need to fix anything. So let's do that. All right. Seems like it's been forever since I used this particular layout, just because we haven't done a chill stream in a minute. But let me turn on BGM. That's going to be super loud in my ear. Okay, I'm going to turn that down in the playback. And let's see. Get the desktop audio going. My BGM tracks aren't all the same volume, but they're close. So if I have it set to about here, you guys should be able to hear it, but it shouldn't be overpowering me since it's playing directly from my computer. We'll leave it there for now, and you guys can see on the layout, in case you haven't seen this particular setup before, it'll tell you which one of my BGM tracks is playing right above the chatting. So we'll let that play and make sure the volume is good. Yeah, we'll get that here. Iconic Boar says, sounds good. Okay, good. If I need to tweak anything, as usual, let me know. Iconic Boar says, that's a good name. You're talking about the name of the song? The BGM playlist I put together that's playing in the background for today is a mix of the BGM tracks we've made here on stream and a mix of stream sounds, which are BGM tracks I usually make on the fly when we're doing other things besides jam streams. And usually that's with the input of chat. So what I've done is I've dumped all the ones I've completed so far into one playlist, and it's just going to cycle at random. And Serpent Snack came from one of the Slither.io challenge streams I did. A You Die, You Beatbox stream, which was fun. I need to do another one of those. All right, let me check the audio readout for sound levels on my loop. Because I'm going to be doing a jam stream a little bit later, I have all the sound interface stuff coming through my loop station. But you guys should be able to hear anything I do on it as well. Bruh. Make sure the bruh button's working. That's kind of how I check how the sound readout looks. Bruh. Yeah, that should be okay. Let's see. Maybe I'll make Twitch chat a little bit bigger. One of the things that's new for me on these broadcasts since coming over to Twitch has been actually having the Twitch chat visible. And you guys can see yourselves in the upper left corner. And that's for the archives. And I could talk a little bit about the logistics. So unlike YouTube, where everything was just archived directly to YouTube after I finished streaming, from Twitch, rather than worry about the time expiration on VODs, stream archives after I'm done are going to get edited and uploaded onto my YouTube channel, and I'll probably just date them and put the content that we covered, and then make sure there's no audio or video issues before I upload them. So if you guys ever miss a stream or want to see what we did, you can always check out that stuff over on YouTube. In addition, clips and other things that might happen on stream will get posted over there, and It'll be like a running archive. Iconic Boar says, bruh, with the Wazzy emotes. And speak of the devil, I see Wazzy in chat. Wazzy has confirmed my move over to Twitch. So now she can bully me directly, and her community can bully me directly. But welcome. Welcome to Wazzy and Sour Lad and Iconic Boar. And folks coming over here as I get used to having all these new application windows open. I wonder... Let's see. I'm also learning how to use Stream Elements. What I've done, and I don't know if it works because I was testing it last night, but I set up some follower sounds that are linked to Stream Elements. So I guess we'll see if anybody follows, if it plays the sound and shows a notification. I don't have a super fancy custom graphic for followers, and I did set up something for subs, but I can't do that at the moment. So it's been a lot of learning and a lot of asking Wazzy questions, since she's an accomplished streamer and knows this stuff. Sourlad says, hi Wazzy, how are you? Everyone's saying what's up to Wazzy, and Wazzy says, still sick. Getting over what we assume is the COVID plague. Hopefully you're feeling better, Wazzy. I know you said your voice is messed up, which is why you haven't been able to stream, but hopefully you get over the plague soon. Sour Lad says, can't wait to see what the first clip is going to be. Unless I do something really embarrassing or stupid today, my guess is the first clip is going to come from our God Hand stream on Thursday. Because the potential for shenanigans over there is exceedingly high. And I mentioned it on Twitter for the stream schedule this week, but I will be joined by at least one of the Team Talk Secure hosts Thursday. We're still ironing that out. I believe Matt is in for sure, and Wazzy's a question mark, depending on her voice. So you guys can expect some more interesting shenanigans when we jump back into God Hand. One, it's been almost a month since I played it, since my PC died, so I'm going to be super rusty. And two, we're jumping into later stages, so it's going to ramp up exceedingly higher, and you guys can look forward to watching me get absolutely demolished. And I'm going to put the OBS chat window here, and then I'll be able to see it without glancing over at my other monitor. And I can put Stream Elements here. I've not quite gotten used to navigating Stream Elements. Guess I only really need to see the main dashboard for now. Iconic Boar says, sending you good vibes, Wazzy. Hope you and Matt had a good anniversary. Wazzy says, I'm actually animating Raku right now. Oh, if it's the one I'm thinking of, that's good. If it's not the one I'm thinking of, I'm concerned. Iconic Boar says, God Hand makes everyone look like a clown. That's true, but it's infinitely worse when you're playing it publicly in front of an audience, because then it's performance anxiety. Wazzy says, Ganpa Raku, tell us another funny work story. That's gonna be something that I need to think of for the next storytime stream we do. I know I've told some stories from the kitchen, and there's many more. But if I were to think of one real quick, I know it's diving into the lore a bit, so if you guys haven't seen some of my stories from the kitchen era, then this is going to refer back to that a little bit. But all you really need to know is that some of the stories involve one of my coworkers. I think I named her before, but I won't. It doesn't matter for the sake of this story. All you guys need to know is that she was very gullible, and she believed pretty much everything we told her, even if it was outlandish, just because she was kind of socially oblivious, if that makes sense. And I remember one time, I don't remember what caused this. I think she said something that was kind of ignorant or kind of funny, and we were kind of joking about it. But one time we were in the kitchen, and I convinced her I was Dutch or adopted by Dutch people, and that I didn't celebrate any major holidays. So every time we had Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, I convinced her that I didn't observe any holidays, and so she would always mention that. And the reason why it was funny was I forgot it was a running joke for so long that I forget the bit. It maybe a month would go by, and then she would mention it in front of customers. This is when we were kind of working between the back of the house and the front of the house and the kitchen. And then, it'd be like Thanksgiving or something, and we're out there serving customers and whatnot. And then this coworker of mine would just tell these customers that were walking by, "Oh, did you know Raku doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving because he's Dutch?" It was, and then I'd have to go, "Oh yeah, I did tell her that, didn't I?" And it would just confuse people, but it was interesting. We kind of messed with her because she was just a little bit spastic and made our lives difficult, but it was all in good fun. Hey, Fearful Milk's here. What's up, Milk? How you doing? Welcome to the chill stream. Need to get in the habit of looking at the right monitor. So for this particular portion, since this is sort of the kickoff stream here on Twitch, I didn't really prepare an agenda. What I wanted to talk a little bit about today is sort of how we ended up here. I mentioned it in the actual announcement video, why I moved over to Twitch and why I made that decision. But in case you guys were curious, I wanted to talk a little bit about the 3 weeks of no PC time while everything was dead. And just to recap what I talked about before, the whole PC death thing happened on Christmas Day. It was the evening after I'd gotten back from visiting family, and I was working on stuff for streams and for content in the evening, and I got up to go to the restroom, and then I came back, and my computer was literally completely off, completely dead, which is very unusual. And I didn't see what happened. I just came back and all my screens were off, power's off. I tried powering it on, pushed the button, nothing. Checked the switches in the back, checked the power strips and everything. It was completely gone, and I didn't see what happened when it went down, so all I could assume was that something failed hardware-wise, and then it shut everything off. Iconic Boar says, Raku the beatboxing Dutchman. Wazzy says, luckily for all of us, I'm fluent in Dutch, allegedly. And then Milk says, starting some art and YouTube videos, the usual grind. You know how it is. Hope the tavern is warm. I hear you, man. The grind is real, but the important thing is that you always keep busy. And oh yeah, I guess I can talk about it a little bit here in case folks may not have seen my chill streams before. The background for the chill streams, the tavern that Milk is mentioning here, is taken from the main lobby screen of the mobile game Epic 7, one of my favorite mobile gacha RPGs. I wanted to kind of create a cozy atmosphere since the chill stream vibe is supposed to be that we're just hanging out and maybe having some drinks and then just chatting. So it's the only real screenshot background I have on any of my layouts right now. But yeah, that's Epic 7. I had to hunt around a bit for a still of this since it's an animated background. The table, let's see if I can point to it with my mouse, which you guys can't see anyway. The table in the middle is where your party of characters that you have in the game sit around. And it's 2D sprite animation. You can see the characters in the back. And when the lobby screen idles, when you open up the game, they just sit there and they hang out at the table and they have little funny idle animations. Iconic Boar says, nice, very cozy. Yeah, hopefully I don't ever get flagged for using that, but for now that'll be the background here. So like I was saying, talking through the dead PC saga, I couldn't figure out why my computer was off. I am not a PC hardware guy. I'll be the first person to admit I know how to do some real basic stuff on the inside of a computer. But when it comes to complex part installment or troubleshooting, I suck at it. When I was in Earth School, I tried doing some troubleshooting on my very first PC and fried it trying to fix things. Usually I will talk to people I know that are more skilled on the hardware side. I have a good friend of mine who lives one city over that helped me put my build together. In fact, he's helped me put all my builds together because I can't be trusted around hardware. And normally, if something goes wrong, I'll talk to him. We'll talk via Discord or something, figure out the problem, and then he'll either come over here or I'll go over to his place. Problem about PC dying on Christmas was we had really bad snow in my area. And I live up in the mountains, so where I live gets more snow than other areas in my particular state, because I'm here in the United States. And as a result, I couldn't go anywhere because we had a butt ton of snow, and I have a little tiny car. And that persisted for about a week plus. Just bad weather overall. And so I couldn't go anywhere to take my PC to get it looked at, specifically by my friend. And we had some hunches that it was probably power related just because it wouldn't even turn on. There were no actual power lights, nothing. It looked like everything was just completely unpowered. And the power supply in my current PC was from a build I made in 2016. And as a result, it was probably due to fail at some point, being 5+ years old anyway. And so my friend recommended I get a new power supply, and then when we get a chance to hook it up, we see if it fixes the problem, and if not, then we go in and look and see what else is wrong. And so I did that, bought a new power supply via Amazon that'll support some higher end hardware. Let's see, Wazzy says, Raku Factor, Raku drives a Kia. That is not true. I'll tell you guys what I drive. It's not really doxing or anything that private. I drive a 2011 Mazda 3 manual transmission. Fun fact, I'm the only person I know out of family and friends that drives a manual transmission car, which is fun. But a Mazda 3 is a little sedan. It's a front wheel drive sedan. And so it's not geared for bad weather or snow. It doesn't have all-wheel drive, it's just front wheel. And I know I'm not good at driving in snow. People in my state aren't good at driving in snow. So if the weather's bad, I don't go anywhere because I don't want to be a hazard. I don't want to be around all the other morons on the road. Milk says, had the dead PC thing as well. Make sure to back everything up. Multiple USBs and backup saves. I broke my PC twice. Not even my fault. My USB died and my PC losing over 100 videos I saved when I deleted one of my channels. And some old content from the channel I use. Been over 3 years now. Going to try and see if I can get someone to get them back from the deleted hard drive. Iconic Boar says to the Raku Mobile. Wazzy says, I can drive manual, not well, but I used to. And Wazzy echoing the sentiment that the PC situation for Milk is rough. Yeah, I hear you, man. When my PC died, the first thing I was thinking was, I hope it's not data related. Because I'm not super diligent about backing up my work. And what I do, the way I have my PC set up, I have a bunch of data drives that are separate from the system and everything. So if the system fries, the system drive fries, unless it corrupts something, all the other ones are separate. But I'll periodically, and I don't do this often enough, and you can be sure I will now, I will hook up my USB. I have like a 2 terabyte USB external drive that I just keep in a sealed package. And then I'll copy all my project files from all the stuff that I work on that's relevant and back it up onto that drive and then just stick it back in storage. And I hadn't done that. I don't think I'd done that since I started working on the VTuber project, which means I most likely had some of the original commission files that I had way back in the beginning, but I would have probably had to go and try and find some of the more recent stuff like Chibox's rig on my current model and get that from Google Drive or something. But all the layouts, overlays, the videos, BGM stuff we've done, all of that stuff wouldn't have been in that backup. And so when things were dead, I was thinking, man, if it's data related and I lose all that stuff, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, and I may have to be on like a 6-month hiatus. But fortunately, once the weather cleared up, and this was after the week after New Year's, about a week or so, once the weather cleared up and it was not snow everywhere, I was able to haul my PC over to my friend's place and get the new power supply installed. First, we actually hooked everything up as is to his monitors and whatnot, just to see if it would turn on. And weirdly enough, I don't know if it's kind of like the indirect IT Jesus effect, but we hooked it up and it did turn on. It started all the way up when I hooked it up at my friend's place. And that was really weird because I tried a couple times the week before just to make sure, it wasn't like a cooldown type thing. It wouldn't start at my place. Hooked it up at his place, it turned on, booted all the way up, logged in. We checked all the drives, made sure nothing was funky with the data, and then powered it down and did the install the new stuff. So it's possible the power cable fried. I think the power cable might be 5 years old too. Either way, it was weird. But we got the stuff installed, everything started up fine, all the data was fine, and then I brought it home, and immediately, like per what Milk is saying, immediately when I got back, I was up till 5 in the morning making sure all my system stuff was backed up and saved. And I need to set a calendar reminder or something every month just to go in and copy stuff over and make sure I don't get behind on that. Milk says, I have multiple USBs now. I needed somewhere to upload all the deleted video I had as well. I found something called Odyssey, so all the deleted videos I had on me, I uploaded there. You can never be too careful as a content creator. 100% agree. I think for stuff that's not going to take a lot of space, like image files, I don't have to see how much PSDs or Clip Studio files take up. But for stuff that's not huge video footage or archives, I'll probably put some in my Google Drive as well, just to store them there in the cloud. That way, in case something happens, my place burns down and I lose my physical data drives, if it's critical stuff, then it'll be in the cloud and be there. And some of the stuff I have would have been catastrophic to lose, but I have things like a doc file that has all my stream software settings, my loop station settings, all the stuff that I have to do manually and make sure is configured properly. I write all that down because I have bad memory. And so losing those files would be annoying too, because then I'd have to refigure it out. But it was interesting. In the 3+ weeks or so when my PC was dead, I spent a lot of time not in my room at my computer desk where I normally am 16 hours a day. And I did a lot of drawing. I kind of set stuff up in my living room, or my dining room really, and spent a lot of time drawing there. And as I was doing that, I was thinking about what I wanted to do once everything was fixed and I could get back to streaming and get back to interacting with all of you folks. And that's kind of where the idea of moving over to Twitch came, because external to the whole my PC is dead saga, I was planning on doing a brand update in January for the new year, which is why you see things like my new banners over on Twitter. If you guys notice, and you can see it on my Twitch channel here because it's the same banner, I have an official logo, a VTuber logo. And the really nice folks over at Uwu Media did a great job on the projects I commissioned from them. And you guys will see more of that coming up soon. Milk says, I won't be able to stay. I'll be having to go now. Take care. Hey, no problem, Milk. Thanks for stopping by. It's always good to talk to you. I hope you have a good afternoon or evening. And so as far as the idea for a brand update goes, knowing that I was planning on doing some things like that, I started thinking about what made the most sense for streaming. And I picked the brains of some of my peers that stream. Like, I talked to Wazi a decent amount since she's probably the biggest streamer I know. And just getting some information on what Twitch enables and allows for when it comes to the community aspects of streaming. because the main thing that I want for the short term is to be able to give you guys things to do and interact with whenever I'm streaming. And the main thing that bugged me about YouTube, and I've talked about this a bit, I mentioned it in the video, so I won't harp on it here, but the community features for streamers on YouTube is locked behind the monetization eligibility that YouTube puts for all content creators, be they streamers or just video uploaders. And I researched it a little bit to make sure I was understanding it correctly. And in order to be monetized on YouTube, last I checked, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours. I assume that watched hours is between uploaded content and streams. It would suck if it was just uploaded content and not streams, because my streams were the majority of my time. But outside of that, you have no other base community functions. Sorry, I was just taking a look at the update when I realized some people followed, and it, as far as I can tell, unless I didn't hear it, I don't think it pinged the... Oh, I don't have it enabled here. I'm an idiot. Hold on. I have it on my jam stream, but not on here. That's why you guys couldn't see it. One sec. I need to enable stream elements on every overlay. Oh, that's annoying. Now it should be here. So if somebody else follows, it should play a sound effect and show my logo, my animated Tenpo logo in the lower right corner. Let's keep an eye on it, because I see Naked Snake followed, Muffin the Bunny followed, and Milk followed. And because I didn't have it enabled on this particular scene in OBS, it didn't ping. But let's see. Wazzy says, there it is. Okay. Let me put that a little lower. Thank you for the follow, Wazzy. Thank you for testing my alert. Let me catch up on chat. Wazzy says, how am I the biggest streamer you know? That's sad. Well, you're not the biggest streamer I know of, but you're the biggest streamer / content creator that I've ever talked to. Iconic Boar says, I think Raku meant the coolest streamer he knows, Wazzy. Don't give her ideas. Don't give her ideas. But yeah, thanks for the follow, Naked Snake. Good to see it in chat. Wazzy says, I am rad AF. Oh, okay. That's what that was. Wazzy, I guess, unfollowed and refollowed. Alright. It's working. Hopefully the lip roll sound isn't too loud. Until I could think of something better, the follower sound I just recorded real quick yesterday and uploaded is just a dry lip roll sound. And you guys will see when I'm eventually able to get subs. I recorded an actual full sound clip from the song Whales. You guys would recognize it if you heard it. Naked Snake says, I've been playing BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Nice. I have not played a BlazBlue game since the second iteration. Calamity Trigger was the first one. Oh boy, it's been a long time. But it was the version that came out after the very first iteration when BlazBlue first came out. And I haven't been back to it since because it was never on a system I owned. But yeah, it's a good game. I really like the world and lore and the fight mechanics. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the community features and the challenges of pushing towards those community features on YouTube, again, with the monetization eligibility, which is kind of difficult for small creators. I think a lot of people are aware of that. I basically came to the crossroads of thinking, do I keep going with streaming on YouTube and just trying to aggressively push as much as I can for hitting those numbers, and realistically maybe it being in 3 to 5 years, depending on just the rate of growth? Or do I look at potentially moving to a platform like Twitch, where the immediate community features for engagement is locked behind the first sort of achievement or first wall of affiliate level? And that's one of the things I asked Wozzy. I said, for just getting an affiliate level, not a partner, on Twitch, what does it require and what do you get? And she told me that the affiliate level, and Wozzy, correct me if I'm remembering wrong because it's been a bit, but the channel point system is something you earn at affiliate level. The ability to have 4 base emotes is the starting unlock for partner level. And I believe you also get the ability to get subs. All that stuff. Okay, Wozzy says all is affiliate. Yeah, there's no innate perks towards community stuff at its base. I think you guys can you guys change the colors of your name? It looks like it. But as far as things like custom emotes and whatnot, yeah, I can't enable those until I hit affiliate. But the affiliate requirements, in addition to streaming and X number of people tuning in per broadcast in a given month, is 50 followers. And that is something that is much more achievable than 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And so in weighing the pros and cons, just to wrap up where the story was going, I decided that it would make more sense to sort of start from the ground up on Twitch, and not completely from the ground up. Most of you folks that I see here came over from Wozzy's community and or YouTube, and that's great. I was a little bit concerned that some people might not jump over just because it's a different platform, and that's fine. What I plan on doing is using, again, the YouTube channel will be for archive stuff in addition to content that I make that's not stream related. So if folks still want to see what I'm doing and not jump over here, they can see it on YouTube, and that's perfectly fine. I don't want people to think that this is a only go and see Raku on Twitch and nothing else. Not the case. Still have a lot of stuff over on YouTube I want to do, and so now I get to manage 2 different platforms instead of 1. Sourlad says, I think only on computer you can change the color. Okay, because I can see different colors for your folks' names in my chat. So I wonder if it's something, if you guys are on computer and are setting it yourselves or have set it on other channels. Like Wozzy's blue, Iconic Boar is purple to me, Sourlad's orange, Snake is green. And that's cool. It's nice to have that feature. Naked Snake says, have you heard about the Mad Catz arcade stick? Are you talking about a new Mad Cat arcade stick? Is that the one Pat and Wooly were talking about, Snake? I saw a thing from their podcast where they were talking about one of the models. I haven't watched that video because I've been kind of behind while I've been working on stuff. But I don't know much about it. So what's significant about the hardware? Is there something funky or weird about the hardware that would warrant a discussion? Because I think I have one Mad Catz stick. Maybe I don't. Most of mine are Hori, but I actually don't remember. I have like 5 arcade sticks. I'm pretty sure my Xbox One exclusive one I think is a Hori. But if you want to elaborate on what was going on with the hardware, I'd be interested to hear. I'm hoping I don't have to buy another fight stick for a while. They're not cheap. and as long as they're not platform locked, which is why I bought the PS4 Soul Calibur 6 one that I use on PC now, then I see no reason to buy new ones unless the platform requires it. Snake says it has programmable buttons. I'm assuming that means you have to hook it up to the computer and then you can actually code things with the buttons. I wonder what you can do. Does it allow for like macro mapping via computer? That's a level of customization that's I don't think we've seen on most big platform hardware for fight sticks. I'm sure on the custom homebrew side, people have been doing stuff like that, but I've never seen that enabled for base hardware. So that is kind of interesting. It's always neat to see sort of the different types of tech that people have for fighting game hardware. I know there's a big discussion and some talk over on Twitter about I think it was the Hitbox company or one of the Hitbox companies. And I think from what I remember, because I think Wooly tweeted about it, it was one of the companies was patenting some aspect of the tech. It was some messy thing with people fighting, but those always looked interesting. For those who don't know, a Hitbox is a type of arcade fight stick, but instead of an actual joystick for directions, all the directions are programmed to buttons. So the entire thing is buttons, no joysticks. And I, for the life of me, can't figure out how people play those because it seems incredibly complicated and complex. But it's kind of a neat idea. But the argument was something about people and the rights to some of the tech. I didn't look into it too closely because it just looked messy. But yeah, anyway, to wrap up the discussion about coming over here on Twitch, I think it'll be a good switch over just because it'll be less time for me to be able to get cool stuff for you guys. And before I forget to mention it, one thing I am working on now, and maybe I will devote some time on the next drawing stream here so you guys can see what I'm working on. I started drawing emotes. My PC was down for an extended amount of time. I would have just taken a picture and posted to Twitter with what I was sketching. But from what Wazzy told me, it's four base emotes, affiliate level, beginning. And I think I drew 6. So once I actually start getting them on the computer in a format that's readable and presentable, I'll probably ask you guys to tell me which ones you want when I eventually get close to that point. We got some funny ones. Let's see. Snake says it's illegal. You could program a combo on a button. Oh. So that's not necessarily just function. That's actually programming input. So if you wanted to code, let's say, an infinite in Skullgirls, which doesn't really have infinites, but let's say you wanted to combo a really powerful set of moves and inputs in Skullgirls, you're saying you could hard code it to be a button press with that stick? Yeah, that's not tournament legal. There's no way. So in other words, you can have basically frame perfect inputs programmed in, all push a button. Yeah, that's interesting, but I think I understand why the header title for that Castle Super Beast video is who is that arcade stick for? I think it was called. Because you can mess around with it, but you can't take that competitive. And it would be interesting to see for people playing online. I guess just out of competition, you wouldn't know. Someone could have a super powerful set of things rigged to a piece of hardware, and you're playing them online, you wouldn't be able to tell, I guess. But if you were competing in an online tournament, they would have to check your hardware. And that would be interesting. I think they would probably just ban that type of controller. They wouldn't leave it up to whether or not people are using it improperly. I'm assuming that Mad Catz fight stick is just banned. That'd be the easiest way to do it. Waz says, don't forget them animated emotes, boyo. Yes, that is another thing. That fact, since you mentioned it, Wazi, maybe I will have to call on you to help me with that because I can't animate for anything. I can draw stuff, but I can't animate. And maybe that's something that we can work on. But I think that's a little while away. After I unlock base emotes, I think animated is. You told me I'd have to go look at our chat. I don't remember. Naked Snake says, and the stick is called Tournament Edition. Maybe. Oh, so here's an idea, Snake. And the fighting game community being as resistant to change as they are, I don't think they'd do it. But maybe they could create a custom class of competition that's for modded hardware. You know, kind of like the broken tier. In that competition class, and they'd have to restrict it. You can bring that tournament edition with all your fancy broken program junk on there, and then those people can all play against each other. But unless they did that, yeah, I'm sure it's banned. That seems absolutely busted for competitive play. Wazi says, wait, how far does the chat box go before it wraps? I don't know, because I was testing that yesterday, and I don't know how legible it's going to be. Hopefully people can read it in the archive. I think it is. The problem is the transparency. I need to mess with it a little more. But you can test it and see. Well, of course she does it in all caps. Hello, chat box. It is I, Wazi, and I'm testing your character limit to see if I can get you to go all the way across the screen, barfing emotes. Will I make it to that stool there? Perhaps the barrel? I guess the cutoff, yeah, it's the crotch of the red dude behind the thing. Iconic Boar is back. Welcome back. Well, that's good to know. My chat window on this overlay is not that wide because I didn't think people would be typing long sentences, but I don't really care if it goes beyond that. It's just a placeholder just so there's a backdrop, transparent backdrop for all the text. Can't remember if I asked Wazi this. Maybe I did and I don't remember. But polls. Polls are something that's locked behind affiliate, I believe. I'm just taking a look at my thing here to see. I'm just taking a look here, sorry. I'm going to assume it is, and if it's not, I'm sure Wazi will tell me. Or, let's try /poll. Okay. Sour Lad says, did some research on the Rusty Lake games. It's safe. There's 3 categories on Twitch, but it depends if you guys would like the themes and elements that are in the game. Oh, I says, I don't know. Naked Snake says, what are you drinking? I am, right now, I'm drinking water so that I stay hydrated for the jam stream that's coming up in a little bit. The drink that's on the table on my overlay, I think that's a rum and coke. I just wanted some cocktail drinks here. I need to get some other ones that I can put on here that would be fitting for stuff I drink in real life. But yeah, in fact, I have a bunch of them. Let's see. There we go. If I'm having a real day, then you'll see this many. All right, let me try the /poll command real quick. See if it works. It says unrecognized command. No, doesn't look like it works. Sour Lad says, remember to hydrate, everyone. Yes, hydration is important. Wazi says, you're not my boss, Sour. You're my mod. Or you're a mod. That's true. That's another thing I gotta think about over here on Twitch. especially as the audience potentially grows in the future. I'll need to think of ways to keep tabs on it, especially if things start to get unruly at some point. I think it'll be okay for now. I'm not really a high profile streamer, so I'm not really a big target for a lot of the shenanigans. But that's something I'll think about. Sourlad says, just a friendly reminder. Wazzy says, make your old pal Wazzy a mod. We'll talk about that later, Wazzy. I would like to have a serious conversation about that if you're not just being funny. Naked Snake says, try / your mom. I'm going to type it in and see what happens because I've never done that on here. But if it does something stupid, then I'm kicking you out. Oh, exclamation point, your mom? Oh. It's typing there because it's not recognizing. That's why. Let's see if the command works. Nope. Sour Lad says... Actually, let me scroll further up. I need to make this thing longer. There, no, it won't cut off as high. Iconic Boar says, yes, Wazzy, mod to smite all those who oppose you. Sour Lad says, Wazzy will make polls to make fun of Raku's opinions. She does that already. But, yeah, we'll see. I'll think about the whole mod situation. Naked Snake says, it's a joke. You're talking about the / your mom. I'm going to be real with you guys. I am not new to Twitch as far as watching things, but usually I'm a lot more passive unless it's somebody I know, but I don't really use a lot of the commands or emotes super often. And as a content creator, again, I've streamed on Twitch before, but it wasn't in this life. And it was not a real community focused type of content. So as far as all the things that I need to learn in order to interact with you guys, that's going to be new. And I'm sure it'll be fine. Especially since a lot of stuff isn't even enabled yet, but soon. So let's see, what else did I do while I was on break? Like I said, I did a lot of drawing. We'll probably see some of that stuff later, and we'll look at the emotes one of these days on stream. Another thing I did, I played a lot of Dark Souls. And the only device, to give you guys some context, the only device I had that could get on the internet once my PC went down was my phone. I don't have a backup device like a tablet or a laptop. I did have a Toshiba laptop that I bought in 2008. And it was an old Vista. Windows Vista. To give you an idea how old the machine was. Toshiba laptop, which still ran. I plugged it in. It wouldn't retain a charge, so it'd have to be plugged in constantly. It had a real finicky time connecting to Wi-Fi, but it couldn't update. Windows wouldn't update because it was so old. And as a result, it was kind of a big security risk to try taking it on the internet. And even if I did, it was ungodly slow, just terribly slow. And so I mostly use it to just look at old writing, stuff that I've worked on, and some other things. And that meant all of the internet-related things were just on my phone. And juggling Discord accounts and everything else on one phone device sucks. And I do not miss having to do that. So one thing I've invested in is a new laptop. In fact, I got it last week and got it set up. And it's good to go, and just put it in storage for now. If for some reason something happens to my PC, now I have another device to work on. I don't know if I'd be able to stream with it. I probably could. In fact, it's in a lot of ways more powerful than my PC. It's got a much better graphics card. The bottom line is I can do things with it, as opposed to being in the Stone Ages, unless I'm trying to do everything from my phone. Sourlad says you should make some rules so followers can know how to behave in chat. Yes. In fact, that's another thing I need to look at. I'm assuming it's done just through the interface here, because I know I've seen you do the exclamation point rules in Wazi's chat. So yeah, I need to figure out how to do that and set some rules up for conduct. For you folks that are jumping over here from Wazi's chat and that Team Toxicure streams, just so you know, my rules aren't going to be very different from hers. For now, in fact, I'd have to look at it closely, but yeah, I'd expect you guys to behave like you do elsewhere. Just don't be jerks. That's what it comes down to. Naked Snake says 8-bit VTuber. Ozzy says Pixel Raku. And Sourlad says you can make a command or add it to the about page on your profile. Yeah, I'll probably make it a custom command. I just need to figure out where to do that. Yeah, as far as the 8-bit VTuber, I'm pretty sure all of the function on my new laptop would be fine. In fact, I'd probably at least try it once to see how it runs. But on the old laptop, there's no way. I don't think it'd even be able to download the software. I couldn't even get Steam to download stuff. It was not great. But it was fine. Iconic Boar says only positive vibes. That's right. Naked Snake says to Wazi, go touch grass. Wazi says, I can't. I'm contagious. I'm going to assume, I don't know if since the last time I talked to Wazi, but I'm going to assume it's COVID related. I don't know if you're able to get a test or not, but until you don't feel like absolute garbage, you're going to want to avoid people in general, which sucks, but hopefully you're through the worst of it. Most of the people I know who got it didn't have to get hospitalized, which is what you want, but it still sounds like it's a rough time. I'm sure it'll be just a matter of time before I catch it, which is why I never leave the house. But the thing that kind of, I think I mentioned this, maybe I mentioned it on Twitter or I mentioned it elsewhere. The thing that was annoying about the Dead PC saga was I was on vacation the week after Christmas up through New Year's. I had to take time off because I had time that I'd have to use or lose essentially. And so, and Wazi knows this because I talked to her about it. I had stuff planned for that entire week I was off. Between streams and other content I was working on, I had a lot of stuff I wanted to get done since I was not at the Earth job, right? And then my PC died Christmas Day, so basically it shot my entire week worth of productivity. And between that and us getting a butt ton of snow, I couldn't really go anywhere or do anything. So I kind of resigned myself to shoveling my driveway for a few days because we're getting decent snowfall here. Not compared to Canada, I'm sure, but enough that it would have been a pain if I didn't shovel my driveway when I actually wanted to leave later. And then my snow shovel broke 3 days in, so I was unable to shovel. So it was kind of a rough time for essential hardware. My brother said, don't touch anything important for the next month. It's like, next thing would be my car. Like my car dies. So thankfully that didn't happen. It's like, man, that was the reason why I was playing a lot of Dark Souls on PS4, because essentially I could have used that as a device too, but using internet browsers on game consoles blows. I do not like it. So play a lot of Dark Souls, did a lot of drawing, and then once we were up and running, I basically had to jump back into the grind. Sourlad says, "Think, Iconic Boar, think." While he says, "She has terrible lungs, just the flu." Nick Snake says, "Dead PC anime arc." I divide most of the events in my life up by arcs. So yeah, the Dead PC arc thankfully wasn't super long, but it was annoying. It's at the end of the day, it's a first world problem. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that my life was dramatically impacted for the negative forever. It was just annoying because I had plans. We could have been 2 or 3 more streams ahead in God Hand, but that's all right. Come Thursday this week, I will head back into the onslaught, and we'll punch demons. Iconic Boar says, "Sour Lad, sorry I can't think, head empty." That's a mood. Nick and Snake says, "The divorce anime arc." That sounds like it'd be much worse. Iconic Boar says, "So this be the Raku Revival arc then?" This is the return, the internet return, and the stream rebirth. Here, it's like an Evangelion moment. And Wazi says the Lucian God Hand arc. That's just the God Hand arc. It's assumed you're gonna be losing if you're playing that game. Hey, and Edward's here. Hey, what's up, Edward? Welcome to the first ever Twitch stream here on the Twitch platform. I'm just going through some of the updates and stuff that I was doing while my PC was dead. We've talked about fighting game hardware and some other stuff. Well, hopefully you're doing well. I did see that you followed, so thank you for following. And we've confirmed, although I have my sounds turned down a little bit just so it's not in my ear, we did confirm that the follower sound works. And I need to remember to add elements to the other stream layouts, other scenes in OBS. Naked Snake says, the Raku clone arc. I don't know what the next arc's gonna be. Hopefully it'll be a fun one, as opposed to an annoying one. Well, let's see. Was there anything else significant? Aside from playing a lot of Dark Souls, I'm playing a lot of Monster Rancher on Switch too. In fact, I most likely would have done that on stream had my computer not died. Naked Snake says the Twitch arc. That'll be the big main arc, I guess. The quest to affiliate level, like Iconic Boar is saying. There you go. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I still need to learn how to use all the tools. Like, one thing I'm going to try and do when we get to the end of today's stream, which will probably be in a bit. We're not wrapping up anytime soon, but I will test the raid function if anybody I know is online, and we can make sure that it's working properly when we go raid somebody else. Team Wazi says Evo Raku arc. Sourlat says Twitch training arc. Naked Snake says Raku versus Ninja arc. If you mean Ninja the streamer, that'd be a short arc. One thing I plan on in researching a bit is some more things with the actual VTuber side in the future. You guys will see. Actually, maybe I can show you. It's not secret information, but I can show you what I got commissioned as part of the brand update. So let me do this. I will show you guys the content thumbnails I got made. Create a new scene for this. For those of you that have seen over on Twitter and here on Twitch with my banner, the avatar art in there is part of that commission project. So now I can actually show you guys what I had made that goes along with said assets. Let's see, commission, thumbnails. Okay, so this is the first one. It's gonna, I'll minimize it so it's not taking up the entire screen. But this is a thumbnail that you guys will see for upcoming stream announcements and the thumbnails for the stream archives on YouTube. That's why I had this stuff made. So for Beatbox Jam streams, whenever we do a dedicated Beatbox Jam stream, this is what I'll post out with the Twitter announcement whenever we go live here. And then when I post the archives of the streams on YouTube, it will be the same title card or thumbnail so people will be able to tell what type of content it was. Because what I had on all the ones up till now has been a real simple overlay thumbnail that I made that was pretty jank. It's just my model with the overlay. And so I had the nice people at Ooh Media are the ones I hired for this. I asked them to create the logo for my name and then the avatar art based on my model and then the actual thumbnail image itself with the background and all the other stuff for 3 different types of content streams. And this is the first one. Wazzy says, is it the slutty art? Are you going to show the slut art? Slutty Uraku. Naked Snake says, you have a 13 pack? I didn't ask them to do that. And the reason why they did is because even though you guys normally see my model from maybe the torso up, here I can show you here in VTube Studio. My model does have abs. You don't see them that often because again, I'm usually further down on the screen. And here's my shorts. You guys never see my lower half of my feet. Feet reveal. But I didn't ask the artist that made the image for my model to do that. They sort of adapted that from the concept art I gave them, and then I didn't have a problem with it, so I didn't tell them not to change it. But I like the lore that the abs are drawn on, as opposed to being actual abs. I wish I had abs like that. I have one ab. Iconic Boar says BPM stands for beats per minute. Yes. Wally says bees per mouth. Sourlat says submissive and beatboxable Raku. I like that. That's pretty funny. I like to. Well, I don't know if I'm not really that submissive, but I'm beatboxable. Wally says sour WTF. Naked Snake says, are you a Mega Man character? I am not a Mega Man character. If I was, I'd have blank man as a name, and it'd be like Beat Man or Beatbox Man. The only thing, and Wazzy pointed this out, and it's not a big deal, it's just I didn't even notice on the commission art. The commission art doesn't have the highlights on my bangs, which is something I tend to forget about because it wasn't something I asked for. It's just part of the design. If you notice, my model has these kind of lighter tones on the front of the bangs and on the sides. I didn't have a problem with it, so I didn't ask the commission artist originally to change it. But same thing here on the title card. It's fine. If you guys do fan art of my character and include the highlights or don't, doesn't really matter. Iconic Boar says beats, man. All right. Let me show you guys the other one. This is something I have not shown yet. Here's a second title card. And this is for drawing streams. Pretty self-explanatory. It is interesting. The way this title card or thumbnail was put together, and with the way my avatar is facing, it shows me left-handed even though I'm right-handed. Again, I don't really care that much. I didn't want to make them change it. I can just flip it around. What I have at my disposal, in addition to these thumbnails that Uwu Media made for me, is the flat pings of just the avatar art outside of the thumbnail layout. So I can use it for other things. I asked them specifically if I could do that, and they said it was fine. So I could take this torso up image of my model, and I could put it in other things, which I might. But they did a good job. I'm pretty pleased with the results. Iconic Boar says, very nice. Thank you. Naked Snake says, you look like a harem protagonist. Okay. Unintentional benefit? Question mark? Iconic Boar says, but when is the Team Toxicure Civil War arc? If you're talking about me versus Toxicure, I would lose that battle. Wazu's community is massive, and I have no community really yet. But I'd have no real benefit to going to Civil War with Wazi. That wouldn't be good. Tell you what, Iconic Boar, you can write the script for the Civil War arc, and we'll see how it plays out. Sour Lad says, reincarnated as a beatbox gamer in another world, the anime. Please don't make me an isekai protagonist, Sour Lad. Don't make me part of the trend. Okay, we got one more. There's 3 right now. I probably should have made 4 for chill streams, but it would have cost more money. So maybe I'll get a 4th one in the future done, or try and do it myself. This one is for the other type of major type of content I do, and that's gaming streams. I like the layouts that they did for all the different types. Very simple in the background. They used a real similar color scheme to my outfit, and then they added the hexagon texture, which I've used on a lot of things. And I think I told them to give me a PS5 controller. I'm pretty sure I mentioned PS5 controller, which is what I've been using for all of our stuff like God Hand. But pretty simple. Iconic Boar says, lol, if I did write that, the war would be over a nonsense reason. That's the only reason to have a silly Civil War, Iconic Boar. It's got to be over something trivial and dumb. Like internet cool guy points. Let's see, Naked Snake says, Rocco, have you played Yu-Gi-Oh? I have not. The only card game I've played, and it was a long, long time ago, like before any of you were born most likely, was Magic. But I don't have any Magic cards now, and I don't really actively play tabletop. I play D&D online, and I do play a tabletop game called Red Dragon Inn, which is a lot of fun. In fact, I've been meaning to ask Wazi if she's heard of Red Dragon Inn, and if not, then we need to talk about that, because it's a really fun tabletop game. Naked Snake says I was born in 2002. Yeah, my point exactly. But yeah, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! I know a little bit about it, but I have not played it. And Wazi says I have heard of Red Dragon Inn. Okay, do you own it? One thing I've been doing over the last year is investing in a bunch of the sets for Red Dragon Inn. I've like the big character box and 5 of the sets, I believe. It's a really fun game. And I recommend all my friends that have people that they play tabletop stuff with to give that a try. It's pretty fun and pretty simple to learn. It's not complicated like D&D or something else. And it's a game where you basically screw with each other, so I imagine Wazzy would be good at it. Wazzy says Snake is an adult now. Doesn't that hurt? Yeah, I mean, it hurts more to think that I'm probably old enough to be Snake's grandfather, but we're not going to talk about that. Wazzy says, I know enough about Yu-Gi-Oh! To make fun of it. Yeah, I know more about the show than the actual card game. And most of the stuff I know about the show came from the Awesome Abridged series. I just know that it's an investment. Collectible card games are a serious investment. But people are into it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Iconic Boar says, Grandpa Raku, give us a sick beat, please. Naked Snake says it's a fun game. Okay, let's start working on transitioning over for the stream today. Now you guys have been listening to me talk for over an hour. That's it for the new content I wanted to show you guys on the asset side. I do want to show you guys something else. Let's see, Sourlot says, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just 1 to 5 minutes of random actions each turn until you win. Naked Snake says, Grandpa Raku, what was the Titanic like? Yeah, ask me what it was like before they invented electricity. Children. Wazzy says, you didn't even show the slut art. I'm going to show the outro screen, or the outro video now, Wazzy. So, keep your pants on. Iconic Boar says the Titanic was sunk by bees. Alright, let's do this. I'm going to turn the BGM off. We won't need it for the jam stream. And let's see. What I'm going to do is, this is the outro video that I'm going to play whenever we get ready to sign off. And so this is a demo. I'm not wrapping the stream up. And it's actually good timing because I'm drinking a ton of water and I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to switch over to the outro video. It's about 2 minutes and it loops. So you guys can watch it and then I'll come back, we'll talk about it, and then we'll switch over to the jam stream. So let me do that. I'm going to have to turn my mic off for a sec so you guys don't hear any indecent sounds. And check out this outro video that was made by Pink. And make sure it's playing sound-wise. I think it's going to be right back. Let me jump over to. We'll go back to the chill stream now. We'll talk about this one before we switch. Make sure everything's up and running. All right, what were we? I see some very, very interesting opinions on the outro screen. So the flat art and image that was done in the outro thumbnail, like I said, was drawn by Pink, and they did a good job. It was a collaborative process, and we worked for a while on it, kind of going back and forth about specifics, things like how I wanted tempo drawn and the different poses and everything else. And again, great results. And what I did was I took the final version that Pink drew with different lighting and using the most jank methods of animation in existence. I basically just chained them together with transitions in Sony Vegas, end on end, for the length of the entire song you guys hear playing. And that's why it looks like the screen and the lighting is changing and the little message on the screen is flashing, because it's just transition animated for about 2 minutes. And really simple. The song in the outro is a slightly arranged remix of a tune from an old Super Nintendo RPG called Lufia 2, one of my favorite games. And I wanted something that was going to be kind of chill and mellow as a stream outro. I may change it in the future. We'll see. I kind of wanted the flashing of the offline message to match the beat roughly of the flashing, so it looked like it was syncing up. And that's basically the entirety of the outro, and it just loops. If I have it set for longer than that, I'll just start over from the beginning. But yeah, now we have a way to start our streams and a way to end them. So again, shout outs to Pink. I need to figure out a good place to put credit information here on Twitch, and maybe I will post that video by itself on YouTube so people can see it there, and Pink's Twitter will be linked there. So yeah, that was fun. Sarah says Chad Raku. Well, it says, I don't know why Pink made him slutty, but here we are. Again, that wasn't necessarily the intent. I basically gave Pink the image of my model and references and stuff like that. And I just said, sitting at the desk, messing around with the loop station with, computer and tempo on the desk and whatnot. And I said, just come up with something and we'll run with it. And they did. And it was pretty cool. And then when I showed it to Wazi, she said, why do you look like a slutty e-boy? And I said, that's not really what I got from it, but that's fine. I guess. There's your submissive and beatboxable. I'll add that to my bios. Let's get hashtag submissive and beatboxable trending. Edward says it somehow looks more manly than regular Otaku, but also more twinkish. Once said he had the brand newest invention of stolen beats. Naked Snake says a Raku DVD menu. I remember DVDs. Well, it says, but credits in the cards down below. I could do that. In fact, maybe I will add a panel to my main channel that has some credits. Because I need to shout out Wazi for the intro animation and Pink for the outro animation. Basically, Team Toxicure and Team Toxicure affiliated artists have done most of my stuff. The Uwu Media is the first time I've talked to people that aren't affiliated with the Team Toxicure brand, and that's fine. Naked Snake says, Grandpa Raku, what was Columbo like? Stop making me feel old, Snake. But yeah, I'll figure out a way to do the credits. I don't putting them in a card sounds like a good idea, so I'm leaning towards doing that. Okay, so let's switch layouts. Let's jump over to the Jamstream layout, and I will figure out what I want to do. So let's do that. One of the next things I'm going to get done is a stinger. A stinger that's better than the jank rotating tempo icon I made. I think I told Walsey how I did that, and she made fun of me. I basically took the flat ping of my Tenpo logo, put it in Photoshop at a resolution that was going to be about a screen size, and then I rotated it over several frames, and then stuck it all in Vegas and strung them all together, and it looked really bad. Then I figured out you can make a rotation command in there with a flat PNG. Either way, it's not great, so I do need to get a new stinger made. Edward says, what's a DVD? Is that those Frisbees with the movie pictures on them? Naked Snake says, Grandpa Raku, what was Disney Fast Play like? I was talking to someone I knew not too long ago about services and how they've evolved, and I remember when Netflix was a physical media-based service. Wazzy's probably old enough to remember too, because it wasn't super long ago, but in its early days, in its inception, Netflix was a thing where you get DVDs in the mail, and you watch them, and then you send them back when you're done, and they send you more. And that was their model for a long time before streaming services started becoming a thing. And then obviously they abandoned physical media then. But I never had Netflix back in the day because I didn't watch a ton of movies, but I knew people who did. And they say, oh yeah, you want to come over? I've got the latest set of movies in from Netflix. We're gonna put them in the DVD player and watch them. And then I got to send them back tomorrow. Wazzy says, I like Blockbuster. Yeah, that would have been towards the end or post Blockbuster, where instead of going to a brick and mortar and renting movies, that's where the disc-based Netflix service came in. Before that, brick and mortars, you had things like Blockbuster. I don't know if Canada had Hollywood Video, but there was physical stores, and I think we talked about this on stream before too. There was Blockbuster Video for movies and all that stuff, and there's also Blockbuster Music, where you could go in and they had demo kiosks where you could listen to a CD before you bought it, and it was pretty neat. If you didn't know if you're going to like a CD, you can go and listen to the whole thing and then decide if you wanted to buy it for free, and then charge you to just listen to a whole thing. It was pretty neat, but I don't know how common Blockbuster Musics were. There were a few in my city, a couple. They closed down before the movie brick and mortars, and those went too. Naked Snake says, Grandpa Raku, what was Redbox like? Redbox still exists. Now you find them outside at gas stations and the like. Sour Lad says, Grandpa Raku, what was original Monopoly like? All right. You guys are making me feel old. I'm going to have to go polish my dentures. Bruh. All right, let's get everything configured on the Jamstream here. The layout I have for the Beatbox Jamstream is kind of an updated one from before. I changed the gradient a little bit. I changed the texture pattern in the back. For the brand update, I don't know if you guys noticed, maybe not because I've only done it on a couple things. I used to have hexagon frames, and now I have solid octagons because I like geometric shapes. But between that and the chat being on screen now, which I may have to move you guys over so it's not cutting off. Let me do that real quick before we get started. Actually, maybe I can collapse it in. Hold on. Wait. I'll do it like that. Doesn't need to be perfect. I can fix it later. Yeah, we'll put you guys right there. Naked Snake says, Grandpa Otaku, how was the stock market crash? You gonna ask me about the wars next? Iconic Boar says, yo, Otaku theme Monopoly with a B play piece. Naked Snake says, NFTs are Beanie Babies. Pretty much, except you can't hold them. They're non-physically tangible Beanie Babies. I think NFTs are stupid garbage. Sourlad says, this is the old man saga. Sourlad, had you been here from the beginning, you would know that it's always been the old man saga. I didn't age in reverse, but thanks for reminding me. Bruh. Alright. I'm gonna have to stand up for this. It's easier for me to breathe. I'm standing up. Alright. Let's do this. Iconic Boar says, punish Raku. That's me every day, baby. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna check my settings in the sound readout. So, what we're gonna do for the jam stream, I want to do this in 2 sections. And this will be kind of a test for the format here on Twitch. I want to do some warm-ups, some drills, maybe a little bit of freestyling, and maybe talk a little bit about some beatbox theory. But I didn't really plan anything structured because it's not a dedicated jam stream. But the last part is going to be me showing you guys some stuff I've done on the loop. And that's another thing I did while my PC was dead. My loop station was still fine. So I did create some new BGM tracks that I'll be recording and we'll be using on things like chill streams in the future. I need to sit down and do that for a bunch of older ones too. But I also created something interesting that we'll see kind of at the very end, which I think you guys might find interesting. If you guys have never heard me rap before, then that'll be something to look forward to at the end. Naked Snake says, how is JFK? We don't talk about JFK. Alright. Bruh. Sound levels look like they're good. I'm going to warm up with some stuff, and you guys let me know if I need to tweak anything with the sound levels. Alright. Alright, for warm up, let's see. Get the blood in my face muscles, as it were. So let's see. Switch. Bruh. on set. Proto Prolix followed. That's Matt. Hey, Matt. Thanks for the follow. It's funny, I was doing lip rolls and I heard the sound in my ear. I thought, that's too many lip rolls. Thanks for the follow. So let's see. Keeping up on the warm-up. Wazzy says, we're making dinner. What are you guys making for dinner, Wazzy? Naked Snake says, Raku, what was Y2K like? Disappointing. Everybody thought Y2K was going to be this world-ending catastrophe with computer systems, and then it just didn't happen. Like, if you know people who were adults at the time, people literally thought the sky was going to fall when everything clicked over in the year 2000, and it just didn't happen. Which is probably a good thing. So let's see. As part of the jam streams, and for folks that have never tuned into my jam streams before, this may be sort of an intro to how I do these. The structure that I usually follow is kind of a mix of freestyling, coming up with different beat ideas, but also talking through beatbox technique and sound theory. And for folks like Edward, who's been on a lot of them, it's not really going to be new format-wise, but I did want to talk a little bit about some sound theory stuff that I've been working on, because I did have a lot of time to practice beatboxing during the Dead PC arc, I'll tell you what. But some of the things that we've discussed in previous streams, I want to sort of talk about here, since they're kind of works in progress and other things that I've been kind of focusing on. So one topic we've talked about on multiple jam streams is the idea of technicality. And folks that have listened to my jam streams before know it's one of my favorite things in beatbox technique to talk about. And I just realized I need to change my stream title. What do I use for this? Music? I'm going to say music. Put that there. All right, I guess we'll see if a bunch of music people come in and tell me I'm using the wrong tag. But technicality or sound combos in beatboxing. You've heard me do it on a couple of the practice patterns and warm-up drills so far, but stringing together multiple sounds in chains to create complex combos, not necessarily speed patterns like we've talked about before. A lot of it is used in speed patterns, but technicality is very interesting and versatile in beatboxing. It's one of my favorite things to experiment with because it's so open-ended. And the one that's been the biggest work in progress that I've talked about a couple times is the TKK. And that's the... And real quickly, just because we never talked about it here on Twitch on a jam stream before, I'll sort of recap how it works or what it is, and then what I've been working on with it. And then I'll explain kind of the work in progress. Naked Snake, or Iconic Boar says, All right, it's been fun. I gotta go. Best of luck the rest of your stream, Raku. Hey, Iconic Bora, thanks for tuning in, man. I really appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. Always a pleasure. I hope you have a good evening. Wazzy says, bye, Iconic. You didn't answer my question about what you're cooking for dinner, Wazzy. I want to know about all the culinary adventures. In fact, I'm going to keep the chat right here. Well, says, you think I can cook? Oh, Matt cooks. Well, I was just curious as to what you guys are eating or what he's cooking. Maybe we can talk about that next time Matt's on stream. I'd be curious to see what he likes to cook. But that's fine. No worries. All right, technicality, TKK. Triplet sound. Again, I've talked about it on streams before, so you guys can always jump back and look at those for a more in-depth breakdown. But the TLDR on TKK, hat sound, just a T sound. The K sound is just a K, like a K without the A vocalization. So, and then the other K is a rim shot snare, which sounds like. And a rim shot snare is a little more complicated to explain. Won't do that here for now. Basically, a breathless inwards K type snare. You get that sharp hit. And so a TKK chains those three sounds together. You get. And doing it faster in triplet, you get. Fix my mic here. And so what I've been working on has been speed chaining the TKK to get a roll or more fluid back-to-back pattern, doing it over and over again. And that's been probably the most challenging thing because it takes a lot of just practice and muscle memory. Wally says, I cut veggies and sit on the floor. Oh, okay. Every chef needs a sous chef, so there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't cut yourself. Trust me, I know. So TKKs are something I've been practicing a lot. It's really easy just to sit there till my tongue gets tired and just do the over and over again. And I feel like I'm really close to getting the constant roll chain down. And so I wanted to show you guys a little bit of what the patterns I've been tweaking and experimenting with using the TKK sound set. That's not just spamming it back to back. So speed wise, if my mouth isn't tired and I'm thinking about how much I can do the sound, if I'm thinking it'd probably be about, and then after, the 20th rotations when it starts to get a little bit messy, and that's when I usually stop. That's all well and good, but I've been also experimenting with mouth position, doing just the TKK chain over and over to change how it sounds. So in beatboxing, you can change the position of your mouth, just the shape, and it changes how sounds come out, which makes sense. And for TKKs, just a regular mouth neutral position is how you get the. But if I change the opening, it changes kind of the pitch of those rapid fire sort of click hit sounds. It's not a click, but it sounds like it's a clicking noise in like a percussive beat. And so I've been experimenting around with doing things like an open to closed, an open in sets of 3 chains. And this isn't something I've talked about before, but it's something I've been messing with recently. And so if you think of it like, that's just basically ah and o with my mouth, doing the same 3 sounds, and that's why it changes. So if you're thinking about it in sequence, it's going subtle. It's not dramatically night and day, but changing the mouth position while doing the sound the same way creates a different variation when the sound comes out. And so I've been trying to flesh that out a little bit more and figure out ways to take that and plug that in on beats in between things like snares and other things in order to sort of mix up the variety. And kind of alongside that, in addition to TKK, I've been trying to combine it with the other technicality chains I do know to create new variations, new permutations of how the sound set comes out. So one I was working on would be like a, let's see, TKP TKK. That's technically TP Rimshot TKK, but it's changing just one or two syllables within the sound chain, and it changes the whole combo. And filling around with all that has been a lot of fun and experimentation, and that's what I've been working on technicality wise. And so if you put it into practice, you might get something like drum and bass pattern where it's going. So you're kind of, that's more 3 and 3 instead of one chain of 6. I'm trying to get better at that, but I feel like it's making a lot of progress over the last month almost of drilling. I'm getting better at it. I need better endurance. That's going to be the key. Being able to do this for longer without it breaking up. That's going to be a bit more of a challenge. And so that's the work in progress there. Let's see. I am working on some bass stuff, but it's still very, very early stage, so nothing really to show as far as progress. But I think 2022 is going to be the year of breakthrough with bass sounds. It was my goal in 2022 to get inward bass. I'm going to do it. We may devote an entire jam stream to nothing but inward bass at some point, but I'm going to do it. But that is a work in progress, and we'll get back to that one in the future. Other than that, I've been mostly just doing basic practice, trying to get consistent with everything I do know. I am working on another type of new sound I don't think exists. We'll probably talk about that next jam stream if I get a chance to perfect it a little bit more. But just grinding and doing practice stuff in addition to practicing with the loop was what I was working on during the Dead PC arc. I just wanted to mention that a little bit. So before we get into the loop station stuff for the last leg of the stream today, I guess I'll just work on some freestyle stuff for practice. I can kind of try and apply what I've learned here without devoting too much brain power to it. I tend to come up with more interesting things when I'm not focusing super intently on what I'm doing, and I go in kind of more of a head empty approach. So we'll do kind of a leg of freestyle stuff here, and we'll change the header on now practicing to just patterns. And we'll do that. I'll do that for a little bit, and then I'll show you guys some of the loop station stuff I've been working on, and that should take us out to the end of the stream. So in the meantime, as I'm just sort of freestyling and kicking stuff around, if you guys have questions or anything related to beatboxing or non-beatboxing, feel free to just drop a message. I am keeping an eye on the chat while I'm doing this. I tend to close my eyes a lot, but I try and look down and see what you guys are saying. So let's see. Do some more bass and maybe something more trappish. Let's see. Wazzy says, how many BG tracks do you think you'll be able to make in 2022? It's going to depend on how much we do on stream and off stream, but my plan in the next few months is to finish Stream Sounds. That's going to be the next BGM collection to come out. It's probably 2/3 full of tracks we've made, and there's a bunch I haven't recorded that are on my loop. They're from the end of 21, last few jam streams we did, and other gaming streams. But yeah, that shouldn't be too difficult. The more the merrier. Until they start becoming samey, I plan on making a lot more. Wazzy says, can you beatbox but sad beatboxing? You mean like tonally, or you mean literally? Like, I don't know how you make a sad beatbox sound, but if you mean like crying while beatboxing, that sounds terrible. Like, I'm trying to think, I'm not going to do it, but I'm trying to think of what that would even sound like. It's uncontrollable sobs in between beats. Oh, why is he saying make beatboxing sound sad? So you mean tonally? I don't. That's an interesting challenge. Let me think about that for a sec. It would have to be something a bit more melodic, but a lot of what makes things tonally sad is melody. So things like a really kind of sad or maybe lower key kind of melody, but that's harder to do with a voice unless you're just straight up singing. Because the instrumentation is a little bit more challenging. It could do maybe synth noises, but like let's say I had a piano or synthesized with a piano arrangement instrument hooked up to the loop. I could play like a sad melody and then add a beat behind it, and then it would sound sad. As far as doing it without any instrumentation, I don't know. I don't know how you do that. You'd have to think of a sad melody. Walsey says, I mean, you can cry during beatboxing. That's your own business. You guys would be able to tell if I was crying during beatboxing. I'd get really sniffly and sound gross. But that's interesting. Just from a challenge perspective, I'm trying to think of how to duplicate what Wazzy is saying here. You could do something slower, more down tempo as far as the rhythm. So maybe something like, kind of like you hear on a lo-fi hip hop track. Something like kind of a slower tempo. In fact, we can do it on loop. That might make it a little easier. Edward says, feels like nothing is kind of like that, although they're singing in it. Yeah, you're talking about Stitch's Wildcard. That's true. If you write an actual melody and sing it, then you can tonally adjust it to whichever way you want. That's a really good example. That's a pretty good. I don't know if it's sad. It's kind of more moody, but it's Edward is right. The tone is more in line with what Wazzy is saying. And I'm not good at coming up with sung melodies on the fly. If it's something that I'm covering, I can do, but if it's something that I have to think about, I'm not good at doing melody-based beatboxing stuff. But since we're here on the loop, we can see what we can do. So let's see if we can just get a beat and then play around with stuff just for the sake of experimenting. We're kind of jumping the gun into the loop station stuff, but I think it's an interesting idea. So let's see. So if we did slower tempo, kind of like what I did was, let me do something like that. And guys, let me know if I need to drop drop the loop volume down. You should be able to hear me over the actual track if I leave it about there. Now, if you're thinking about something that goes with the beat, that's going to tonally skew the mood towards one direction or another, again, it comes down to instrumentation, I think. And it doesn't have to be sung. Again, Edward's example of Stitch's Wildcard is a really good example of how to do that with vocals. But, it's, failing the ability to come up with good sung melodies, you could do it with other instruments. My best melodic instrument of the beatboxing sound set for me is probably the trumpet. But as far as what a sad melody would sound like, probably something that starts higher up and maybe has kind of a descending tone to it. This isn't something I've really practiced, so this is probably a sign that I need to do it more often. But maybe we can see if we can do something that's gonna tonally fit here. So to give you guys an example of what my trumpet sounds like, I can do just a real quick couple notes and record it and make sure my tone and everything is correct, because I haven't done it yet today. But my trumpet sounds like. Edward says, I think a side stick snare would be better for a sad beat. You mean something like a rim shot or like a click? Like instead of it being a K, which is kind of more forceful, you mean something more like that's like a rim shot type of sound in percussion. Then you're skewing towards R&B, but we can try that. So it'd be kind of like. Is that what you're talking about? Something that's a little bit less impactful, but still kind of sharp and percussive. Let's try it. We could even double up the clicks if you wanted to. Well, I meant to do them both on top of each other, but I staggered the first one by like a quarter second. But, I think that does sort of fall in line with the mood. Now, the real question is, what would be like a sad melody? I'm not really good at arranging melodies, like I said. But if you're doing kind of a low, maybe low to high and then descending with the trumpet, that could communicate the mood a little bit. So let's see. I'm gonna experiment around with it, and then I'll actually. I can even put reverb on the actual horn. What does that sound like? Oh yeah, it does echo a little bit. Let's see. We can go up, down, down, up, down. We can go down, up, and then up again. We can try more than one and see what sort of sticks. I'm really not used to using my trumpet for a loop. I need to do it more, obviously. So let's see what we can do. Keep the beat here, and I'll mess around with some notes before I try and record it, and then we'll just see if we can get it to sync. The problem with my trumpet is it sounds more trumpet-ish the higher it is. Lower, I'm still working on getting the filtering to be consistent. Because if I go from versus, I think it's just because of the frequency. It sounds more brassy higher up, and I'm still figuring out why it does that. But let's see. I could do 3 notes from higher up. Kind of flugelhornish. Could be a little bit cleaner. But I don't know, it sounds sad to me. If we paired it with a bass line, something low to go under that, then that might be a good compliment. I don't know if Wazzy's still listening, but we'll see if this is what she's talking about. Now, guitar to bass, we could octave and just do the same thing, same melody, just lower. I'm gonna have to mess around with something that doesn't sound like it's off key. So I'm gonna turn it on, and you guys won't be able to hear me. I'm getting a weird distortion on the guitar to bass, and I don't know what's causing that. I wonder if it's one of the... It has to do with one of the settings. What is this? That's EQ. Let me mess around with that a little more. Wazzy says it's a little sad. Well, we're moving in the right direction. We can do this. My dog died. My dog died. Alright, let me see if I can get the bass line. My dog died. My dog died. That's a little distracting. I'm just going to turn it off for a sec while trying to figure out where to put the bass line. My dog died. We can do this too. My dog died. Bruh. I didn't have my dynamics on. My dog died. Bruh. My dog died. Now, if we really wanted to go for like tonal dissonance, my dog died. We could do something like adding another sound to the actual percussion line. Let's see if I can do it on the first try here. Hey, 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 my dog died. Hey, bruh. Hey, 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 hey. Maybe a better thing would have been putting the my dog died on one shot so I could do it at any time. My dog died. Hey, 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 hey. Is that sad enough for you, Wazzy? Are you sad now? Does it make you want to go listen to Simple Plan? This would be a good time to demo the undo redo, which I finally figured out how it works. My dog died. I can take off the haze because it's the last layer on the percussion track that I did. Or I could put it back on. Hey, 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 hey. My dog died. Off. Hey, 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 hey. My dog died. My dog died. Bruh. Wazzy says rude. Hey, you asked for it. Alright. Oh, well, this track was empty to begin with, so I'm going to save this here, and I'm going to render this out as an MP3, and I'm going to send it to Wazzy. Or maybe I'll put it into a clip. That'd be a funny clip. Maybe we'll make a clip out of it, but I'm going to save this song because it's stupid. Edward says, hey, Raku, my dog died. Let's go. Just channel that Gruda energy. Bruh. It is pretty funny, though. My dog died. I had it off. Bruh. My dog died. Bruh. Oh, I wonder. That gives me an idea, Wazzy, about the... Let me see if I can do it. My dog died. Died. Dog died. Dog died. Dog died. My dog died. Dog died. I can use beat repeat to capture that one part of the thing. I'm just trying to figure out where the timing is. My dog died. Dog died. Dog died. Dog died. Dog died. There you go. Dog died. Dog died. Dog died. Dog died. Oh, that's terrible. It's really funny, but it's terrible. All right. I was trying to see if I could get the beat to loop into like a drop, but I don't think I can have it capture the beat repeat in two separate places. That would be really funny. You go from like the sad kind of moody tempo, and then it starts going like, oops, 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 and you just get dog died over and over again. That's all your fault, Wazzy. Everybody blame her. All right. Well, since we're in the loop station portion now, I can show you guys some of the stuff I was working on while we were in the Dead PC arc. So let's see. I need to keep an eye on my readouts here. We're gonna go over to loop track 1. Edward says, that face when the beat drops like you dropped your dog in the hole in the backyard. It's a real old Yeller moment. So this one is a bit more of a, well, it's definitely up tempo compared to the last one. But I wanted to create something a little more dance-ish. But I wanted to experiment around with that TSF rhythm that I've been messing around with. That. Edward says, that was a joke, he was cremated. Indeed. Let's see what we're messing around with here. Slicer, that's what it was, okay. This one would probably be kind of a mix of main tempo, and then maybe we do like kind of a breakdown and a switch up that causes. You can even do slicer at 100%. 100% you lose the hats, so maybe like 50 to 60. While this is running, I'm going to change the... Not practicing, we're just doing loops. Yo, that was granular delay. This one was kind of an experiment with a bit more sung melodies. You know, if we were to take the beat out, the kind of higher energy beat, and we just get the bass line and the sung melody, it's kind of sad sounding. You'd probably want to pair it with a more down-tempo rhythm if a tonally sad song was what you were going for. But I don't know, this is kind of in line with what Wazzy was talking about. It just doesn't have the reference to pet death. But yeah, this is another BGM track. I don't know what it's going to be called. If you guys think of a good name for the whole thing, got suggestions in chat, since, again, I made this one offline. But it'll be part of the collection. Basically, I'm going to sit down for like 3 hours and record a whole butt ton of loops. There's a bunch. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that kind of beeping sound effect. I was messing around with a new filter slash granular delay combo that Kindo told me about, and it's pretty neat. We'll see it on one of the later beats that I'm gonna show you guys. But yeah, there's that one. We'll figure out a name for it later. Let's see. This one was a 2-track, kind of a hip hop one, I think. Let me know if it's too loud and you guys can't hear me when I'm actually playing the loops. These are all recorded at different volumes too, so they're not equalized at all. I don't know what I'm going to use this one for. It's kind of too simple to go into the BGM pack. Maybe I'll revisit this one and add something to it to kind of flesh it out a bit. But I kind of like the vibe. That's why I kept it and didn't delete it. Let's see what else we got. Okay, there's this one. This one I need to fix the levels on. So one thing I was messing around with. Oh, got reverb on. One thing I was messing around with offline during the Dead PC arc was taking a beat and then messing around with rap vocals again. It's been a while. I'm currently working on something for that's not related to any of this, but I wanted to mess around with this a little bit. And what I did was I created a new beat. I'll show you what it sounds like in a second. Then I recorded the rap vocals. This is the same vocals and verses from the Citrus VTuber challenge that Prince Lemon made way back last year. I re-recorded it, and then I re-recorded it with a double track, and it sounds like
Peep the extraterrestrial flow. Battle bars so elite like Sakura Miko.
There's that. And then I put it all together with the beat, and I set it up to be kind of like a remix. And hopefully I remember what I was doing with it. Let's see. It's there. Okay. So what I want to do is run through the quote-unquote performance of the song. It's not going to be me rapping it live. I'm just going to be running the tracks and doing the effects, but you guys will be able to hear it. So let me test the beat out first. The beat sounds like this. And this layer right here, this sort of chimey synth thing in the back, was created using that combination of filter and granular delay. And it's very synthesizer-esque. It's different from all the other sounds that I typically use. And I learned that from Kindo. It's pretty neat. I'm going to do more with this in the future. But if we take the whole thing... What I was able to do is set up the beat repeat feature in order to mix up the beat in between, which I'm going to try and do on the fly if I don't forget where I put different breaks. We can do it like this. Basically put like a repeat fill in between the different structured parts of the actual beat, which is kind of fun. So let me see if I can run through it successfully in the first try.
Peep the extraterrestrial flow. Battle bars so elite like Sakura Miko. VTuber uprising better bring on the memes. While the critics get salty, we devour their dreams. Pulled down the rabbit hole, yet it goes deeper. About to kill the track like a certain pink-haired reaper. So call me R-A, double K-U with the 16. Got no subs, but still I gotta act mean. Lyrics hit so dirty, and yet I keep it say so. Bass slow, posted view, now about to go pro. No slack, sour lime slathered on the lemon track. Juicy styles poured in the glass before you kick it back. Bring it home, only go to leave you with your minds blown. Tune in live and catch us when we're streaming in your time zone. Not here to flex, I'm just offering a glimpse. So thanks for your time, now subscribe to the Prince.
And that's what the whole thing sounds like, start to finish, with the effects added in. Pretty simple experiment, but kind of fun to mess around with things like the track level effects, the vocal track too, and then the granular delay, or ring modulator, sorry, is what I used to create those kind of squeaking frequency effects, and I was doing that on the fly. That wasn't an actual preset. So like if I turn it on and go from like 50% to 60%, it pitches up. And I can kind of go back and forth to create some variance in the actual frequency. Yeah, interesting experiment. I want to mess around with doing kind of a combined thing like this in the future. Another thing I can do with this, which is kind of fun, I can mess with the tempo and then play the whole song, and then it's just going to play the whole thing faster, including the vocals, and it won't pitch shift upwards or downwards. It's just going to do it quicker. So if we were to take tempo, this is at 105 BPM. Let me go up to 130-ish. Yeah, 130-ish. This becomes a little bit more like a break beat. And if we take that and do the whole thing.
Beat the edge, terrestrial flow. Battle bars so elite like Sakura Miko. VTuber up, guys and better bring them the memes. While the critics get insulted, we devour their dreams. Pull down the rabbit hole, yet it goes deeper.
It is neat how the verses stay on beat because it was recorded on beat.
Still I gotta act mean, there is hit so dirty, and yet I keep it say so. Bass slow, posted view, now about to go pro. No slack, sour lime, slided on the lemon track. Use styles forward in the glass before you kick it back. Bring it home, only go to leave you with your minds blown. Tune in live and catch us when we're streaming in your time zone. Got here to flex, just offering a glimpse. So thanks for your time, now subscribe to the Prince.
And basically, it's not 100% clean, but it does translate the whole thing faster. So like, if I wanted to record a bunch of songs and claim that I have really fast, high-speed flow, I could record them at low speed and then up it and then re-record them at a higher speed. But you lose a little bit of audio integrity when you do that, as an additional to personal integrity, I guess. But it is a neat effect. And it goes higher than that, too. Like, if we went at ludicrous speed, you lose the beat a little bit at about 160. But with the vocals, I wonder if it's even going to be in... Well, we'll see what it sounds like.
The extraterrestrial flow, battle bars so elite like Sakura Miko. VTuber up, guys and better bring them the memes.
It gets choppy.
Devour their dreams.
You're starting to lose like a quarter of the bar.
Double K you with the 16, got no sub. Still I gotta act mean, there is hit so dirty, and yet I keep it say so. Bass slow, posted view, now about to go pro. No slack, sour lime, slided on the lemon track. Use styles forward in the glass before you kick it back.
And you lose a lot of the snare too.
Tune in live and catch us when we're streaming in your time zone. Here to flex, offering a glimpse. So thanks for your time, now subscribe to the Prince.
So that was that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that file. Maybe I'll probably put this clip up on the channel just so you guys can see what I was messing around with. But let's see, was there anything else? What was this one? Oh, that's a really old one. What I did when I had some downtime and I was practicing on the loop, I went through and deleted out a bunch of old garbage loops from when I was first learning the instrument. And as a result, I have different empty tracks of 99, but it's all in sporadic places. So now I have to kind of cycle through all of them to remember what's where. Edward says, fill him with the venom and eliminate another world. That's Godzilla, right? Fill him with the venom and eliminate him. And eliminate him, eliminate him, other words, eliminate him. if I was gonna ever do, I think that's Godzilla, not Rap God, right? If I was gonna ever do that, I would take so much practice. I could do it, but it would take a while. All right, let's see. What's on 5? Oh, it's still 5. What's on 6? I think this was a new one too. Oh, is this the one with the 2 beats? Yes, it is. Okay, I remember what I did this one. This one, oh, sorry, right on the mic. This one, I basically did a. What was the bass? 3? No, 2. Yeah, 1 and 2. I did 2 sets of rhythms that I would switch back and forth with this, so it's 1 and 3, and then 4 and 5. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe switch. Oh, that's pretty loud. Right. So what it's got here is it's two different rhythms, the same bass line. But switching back and forth is tricky because I have to basically stop 2 loops and start 2 loops. And the main rhythm on the first pass is kind of like a high speed version of that bossa nova-ish rhythm I use every once in a while, kind of like on the BGM. Little less complicated, like 2 less clicks, I think. But I do like the idea that it switches. It's just tricky to do on the fly. Do it like this. If you're gonna try and structure it into like a drop, like a high-speed drop, and then switch it up, I think I'd probably have to record them separately. Because doing the drop, killing the drop, and then switching the percussion, I need 2 more arms in order to do that effectively. So I'll think about how I want to record it for the actual track. Maybe we can do... And then when it comes off, then it switches to the other one. All right. Let me stop this one. Let me see if there's anything else that I wrote while we were offline, and then we'll wrap up for today. That's a really old one. What's this one? I don't know if Wazzy is still here, but sorry. Had guitar to bass on. I don't know if Wazzy is still here, but I made this song specifically because of her. And if she's not here, then I may have to send it to her later. I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I did it. That's all it is. It's just 3 different B melody tracks. Let's see, which one was this? Oh, this one. This is another experiment with that filter granular bass combo. I think there's a lot of potential to be able to use it like a synthesizer. It's just very, very specific on where you set the knobs. Next jam stream, when we start doing BGM stuff from scratch, I'll show you guys how it works. It's interesting. But that combination created this weird sort of almost radar beeping melody. I'm gonna sit down and we'll sort of wind down here. All right, I just put that beat in the background so it's not dead silence while I'm talking here. So I think that's everything I wanted to sort of cover. Again, as a first stream here on Twitch, this is really more of a trial to get me familiar with the interface and the layout, in addition to all of the notifications. Fortunately, the follower notification is on. I'm happy that's there. I will work on getting this edited and uploaded onto YouTube as soon as we sign off here, and then maybe I'll pull a couple clips out as highlights from the stream. If you guys clip things during streams, I think that pops up. That's something I haven't seen yet, but we'll figure out that when we get there. But that said, I think we'll wrap up for today. Thanks to all the folks who jumped on to help me test things and hang out. It was a successful experiment. I'm glad I finally get to talk to some of you after it's been almost a friggin' month. Going forward, just like I mentioned before, stream schedule will be over on Twitter. I may update the thing on here on Twitch. The thing is, I don't set how long I'm going to stream normally. I just set a start date or start time, and I go for however long until I'm done. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just block out 2 hours every time, and if we go over, we go over. Sour Lad says it was fun. Thanks, Sour Lad. I'm glad you could tune in. Next stream is going to be Thursday this week. We will be resuming God Hand, and I should be here with Matt and maybe Wazzy if she's feeling better. But I'm looking forward to jumping back in, so if you guys want to see some shenanigans, feel free to tune in and watch the pain, because I'm going to be rusty and it's gonna be an experience. So with that said, we will go to the outro and then we will sign off for today. So thanks again for tuning in and hanging out, and I will catch you folks in the next stream. Have a good evening. And I think I'm gonna let the outro run for like a minute and a half, and then we'll be done. So catch you folks later. Peace.